Sticky Trifle Podcast. Welcome to the Sticky Trifle Podcast.
Now, there's been a lack of female power on the Sticky Trifle Podcast. That's a changing on this one forward. And my guest, wow, sit back and enjoy one of the most deepest, powerful podcasts possibly I've ever done. If you don't believe me, stick around and find out for yourself. And our podcast guest, they stay obviously here in New Pitsligo, and I'm sure she will tell you much more about Pitsligo.
Sticky Trifle Podcast.
And welcome to the Sticky Trifle Podcast, and it's number 37, and Weema is Sharon Moir.
Yes.
Where are we? Are we in
We're in Kyock.
Kyak? It's a word that most folk associate with
Yes.
Pitsligo, is it?
Yes, it is.
It's like an old slang word.
Aye. I didn't really care for it comes from, but if you say Pitsligo, most folk will say Kyock. So you
Now-
just
Before we get going, I like my guests to have a drink with me.
aye.
Now I've got in you, I ken you're not a drinker, are you? Since six, so.
I'm partial to gin. Now and again.
Right,
Get
this
what I
is like
mean,
a
but-
soft version of it.
Well, aye.
And this is a Gunna ginger lemonade.
All right.
So
Okay.
will we say cheers?
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Let's
No.
have a taste, see if this is
Oh, aye.
what do you think?
Aye.
It's not bad.
No bad. Tastes even better when you get it for nothing. Right.
Right, okay, so number 37 podcast. I'm really chuffed you've come on.
Thank
Now
you.
we had a coincidental meeting for I'm selling stuff. I'm kind of in the process of moving house, and you was on the first time. You bought us TV unit, and then you appeared again.
Yes, I
for a
did.
second thing. It was a Marvel Avengers canvas, which was my son's,
That's right.
and just by chance at the door, I says, "Listen, would you come on the podcast?"
Uh-huh.
Because I had a feeling. Now we'll get back to this further on later on the podcast. The reason I asked you, and it was seeing you somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't care if you kent me or whatever. But I was aware of you. But I didn't care a lot about you now.
No.
So, which we'll get on to. So anyway, you're not originally Pitsligo.
No. I'm originally from St Haven. We have been born in St Haven. Jimmy and Gloria. 5 of us. 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers, me smack bang in the middle.
And so, like, how did you find St Haven, by the way?
St Haven was great. For a young parent to be growing up here is a place that you get into folks' houses and I got a piece and jam.
Yep.
Everybody can Aberdeen. You were in somebody's house or you were all together. It was the times when playing outside was the thing to do, not sitting inside with a phone.
Do you get into other houses here and we get a piece for free?
Well, name Pitsligo, no, but I am half a partial to turning up at folks' doors.
I don't think, not a lot of folk does it nowadays anyway. Not like
No.
back in the day, was it?
No,
Right.
but I still do. I do like to go and visit all the kind of folk. I can and go in, drop in, get my tea and a piece and get a news and just, I'm a very sociable person.
Now, I can tell that you're kind of quite happy with how you are. And can we speak about the visual looking at?
Well, Probably this is the happiest that I've been for a long time.
How do you ken? You feel it.
I have had a lot of stuff in my life, and some of the things that I've been through, you either hurt other folk or you hurt yourself. And I got through a period of hurting other folk. I was either starting a fight, looking for a fight, or in a fight.
Right, so was that a rebellious nature? It must have been a catalyst. What was the catalyst?
It started off, and my mum and dad split up, and we left the Broch, and my mum was with this guy, and when I was about 10 year old, something like that, this guy started to sexually abuse me.
Which is pretty shocking.
It has a massive impact on your life.
Like this isn't something we'd usually mention, but there's a lot of folk hide this stuff in life, and that's a problem.
It is. It's the unspoken taboo.
Aye.
A lot of folk would have kent it had been going on and wouldn't have done nothing about it. My mother didn't ken nothing about it. But this carried on for about 4 years. So by this time I was in academy, and it's quite a heavy thing to carry.
So if we're going back to mention about this, what was the actual start of it, the age? What age was you?
I've been about 10 year old.
Which shouldn't be an issue in life, should it? It's not something people should be experiencing.
A 10 year old shouldn't have to worry about stuff like this happening at night time. At 10 year old you should still be running out with your chummies, putting on cheap makeup and nail varnish and things like that. I was worrying about.
What did this do to your childhood? Did it rob you a bit? Or
it robbed me. I mean, actually it robbed my hopes and my dreams, because everybody when you're younger has hopes and dreams. And this robbed my thing, and having to keep a secret, because I was told that if I tell anybody, my brothers would be teen want to care, and that my mum loved him more than me. So I was very much, by an adult, blackmailed into believing that I was eating it was wrong.
And see, when you're speaking about that part of it, like, was there any justice at the end of this?
Well, no.
Because usually it doesn't.
No.
This person's always get away free. There seems
Well,
to be some kind of excuse.
Yes, but again, it always comes back to their word against yours. And I've got 2 daughters, and you've got to be mindful about going, and I mean it's a small place, going to court and stuff like that. I mean it's Mrs. A or Mrs. B, everybody would ken. Which, as I say, but I have to be mindful of my coins. Again, I want to protect them as much as I can.
And at the same time, though, it's something that it's not like what you wanted to happen or anything. It was out of your control.
Yes.
But like dealing with and like letting duty have to take it to, was it court or whatever?
Well, but I mean, it doesn't matter if you got 20 years in jail or was put up against a wall and shot. It would never ever be able to talk back what he did to me. The scars inside, what he did to me doesn't matter. There'll never be nothing it could harm to him. It would make me feel better.
How do you deal with new? Is it still something that's quite like fresh for you at times? Is there just certain moments it triggers?
I've spoke to other folk it has been through sexual abuse, and they'll always, and you'll get a noise, a smell and a colour. And every day there's either a noise, a smell or a colour, and it takes you right back.
Wow. And you can be having a brilliant day.
Yes.
And does your mood just change like that?
I can be in a supermarket, and I can be doing my shop and listening to the supermarket sweet music, and I can walk past the toiletry aisle and I see a cake of imperial leather soap, and that just takes me right back to 10 year old.
Wow. It's amazing that just something as little as that can just change your whole day. And ruin it, basically.
And trying to explain to somebody, but if you explain to somebody who has been through it, They totally get it. They
So
totally get it.
does depression come into that, Sharon?
Oh, aye. Because you've got other shame, you've got this guilt, Ken. I can mind exactly what I had done the first time it happened. And it never ever leaves you, but you feel so guilty because I think to myself, was it the top I had on? Was it a skirt I had on? Was it something I said or did?
Oh, obviously it was
Ken?
Nina, that.
No, it wasn't, because I
person.
was tearing you up, but this is what you're going through, because it's like say grooming and nothing like that. It's always turned round and made to be your fault. So it is. It never leaves you, and it does.
So footage did you get away for this happening?
It stopped at 14, but by that time I had so much anger in me. I was really angry.
Which is totally understandable, because I presume you'd, like Paul's and that, you wasn't relating us to them, or if you'd even told one, they was going, what? They didn't understand it, because they're having this happy life.
Yes.
And you're going, wait a minute, there's something wrong here.
Exactly.
I presume.
Aye.
Aye. So at 14, did what happened to this person, by the way? Is this guy still, did he?
He's still alive.
Right, which is, it just makes it worse.
It makes it worse because he still bides round about a certain place. And one day I was driving my car, I did toddlers in Assembly of God, and I was driving up the road to go out of church, and he was standing at the side of the road, and I hadn't seen him for about 15 years, but I just kent him. And just
you've got memories and
Oh,
the
I mean,
bad things coming back.
my mood's going dry, Ken. I'm starting to I can feel the fear inside me. Ken, she's speaking about this guy. Ken, he's nothing to be feared. But what he did to me when I was younger still is inside, Ken. I still, Ken.
So, coming away from this side, okay, you move on in life. What age did you leave the house that you was brought up in, or whatever? Was that a certain age?
16, 17, I think it was.
And far did you head for that point?
I ended up.
So you was in St Haven.
Aye.
Then you moved to Far.
And then we were in the Broch. And then in I think it was my 20s, I moved down to London.
Why London?
Why now?
Like you just says that's it. I'm going to London.
That's it. I'm going to London. I had worked in the ship when I was 18. Bruce Taylor says to me, right, 7 o'clock Saturday in a bar. I worked in the bars. I loved working in a bar. I've got a nature for the bars. And
maybe that's where I seen you for now about 5 pints.
Probably.
Aye,
probably.
You look different.
Because back then, you see, you were allowed to smoke in the bar. You were able to drink in the bar, and you got paid for it.
Was you doing that stuff? But so you were smoking,
Absolutely.
drinking,
Absolutely.
and drugs?
Oh, that comes.
Wow. So hold on. Have you got a rebellious nature? Or you hinna?
I wouldn't say it's rebellious, but being brought up with 4 brothers, only chance of me being only girly, it just wasn't happening. I was kicking about with Dr. Martens shoes and denim jackets because then 4 loons, Ken, it was tough.
And so, if we speak about appearance, see the tattoos. Now usually, if we're speaking about women,
Yes.
most women wouldn't go as far as to go with both arms tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but it's changing days, which I
Yes.
understand.
Aye.
But it almost looks like you're showing this rebellious side by the piercings and or am I wrong saying that?
No, sometimes, I always think sometimes when you're born, everybody's born like a blank canvas. And your life can be a story. And some of this is my story. I mind being doing in Glasgow, doing it something to do with the church. I was just standing there, and this boy walked up to me and he says, "You must have one heck of a testimony, your life story." I says, "Why is that?" And he just took hold of my hands, and I said, "Well, Ken."
So our story is within us art.
Yes. Some folk go and get a little wee butterfly, ken, or they get mum or something like that. Other folk get tattoos for odd different. I think when I first got mining, and I wasn't even in a church, and it's so strange, but the very first thing I got was at the top of my neck, and it says, only God can judge you. And this was about 10 years ago, long before I was in the church. But I think after a while I got as dean, and it was like, there's a lot of it is my story, but I think in a way it was a shield. It was like more or less turning around and saying to folk, keep your distance, dinna come near me. And because I was very guarded, I had a problem trusting folk.
It's like a strong message.
Yes.
You're saying, because I feel it can, like when the first time you came to the door, straight away I noticed tattoos. Like some females will have tattoos, certain bits, but no like both earrings.
Roses and butterflies and things like
but
that.
You've just gone for it.
And I've got skulls and nooses and.
And so like piercings now, are we speaking the same thing?
It's just you came for. I have always been go big or go home. Ken. So if you're going to get a gun and get a tattoo, go get 46. If you're going to go and get piercings, well, just ken. So
have you stopped with your tattoos now, or you still continue on?
I'm still, well, I hadn't had in 5 years, but I mean my feet's all in, my legs are in, my back's all in. I've got a set of handcuffs in my belly, ken. It's
well, maybe show us on camera, just now. I'm joking.
So I've ken, but now I'm kind of gone in another direction. When I'm looking at tattoos now, I've kind of finished with the skulls and nothing like that. Part of my life is moved on.
You've evolved.
So yes, so a softer side maybe. Still not into the little wee pink butterflies and nothing like that, but I'm trying to come away for the dark and
so you wouldn't start a fight nowadays with anybody?
I need to watch because
like let's go back to fighting.
Right.
When was you fighting? At school?
Well, I wasn't really for wee bid in Beach Avenue. There was like half a dozen school teachers at bid in the same place. We had Imani Williams, one studies. We had Mr. and Mrs. West, maths. So I had to kind of watch myself. I was doing because half of my teachers, and so if my mum found I got into trouble at school, I'd have gotten a hiding.
How bad did this fighting get?
It didn't really get bad until like we left school, and then in years to come, the Sultan would have been a zoo. Now it was called the zoo for a reason, because everybody in here was basically, well, I wouldn't say animals, but we were rough.
Primates.
Yes.
A lot of primates.
Yes.
And everybody's trying to get alpha.
It's not a pub you get into unless you drunk here all the time. Ken, it was like somebody come in and wasn't used to coming in, everybody would turn round and look, and you were kind of told, this is not your pub, get out.
So was you always somebody, let's say if you was in a relationship, you'd end up maybe getting involved in a fight because of it? Was that part of the reason sometimes?
I had 2 younger brothers, Clint and Stephen, and I was their sister, so if anything ever broke out, they were always there, always in my backup. But it just seemed to be, once I started to drink, then obviously stuff about the abuse and that would, and then it did. It just, my drinking got out of control, and then the more I drunk and angrier I got, and the more angrier I got, the more I either looked for a fight or would pick a fight, or just, it was my way of coping. I thought I was the only person in the world that happened to.
And if we speak about the drug side of things, how bad was you with the drugs? Or was it just the odd, I reckon, smoking a joint or something? Or
well, I mean, I smoked hash. I mean, in the Sultan, even though it was an ex-corporate owned it, there was no rules there. And so I was a bit of wheeling and dealing going on and nothing like that. I get down to London, and I was in London, and ecstasy was in London probably a year before it came up here.
Wait, is this why you was doing to London? Was you doing getting ecstasy?
No, I was doing working in the pubs. But if I got a cheeky ecstasy, or I was quite happy again.
Aye.
But no, so, and then I got in with a crowd, and it would have gone for ecstasy to cocaine.
Wow. How did you not get hooked? Because I heard the folk is into cocaine, you're hooked, and then it's the end of the line.
Drugs is drugs, Ken. In fact, I'll tell you, this is how bold I was when I was younger, right? Doing in London, working down there, and Peter Stringfellow, Stringfellows, right? I had got drunk one night and got in his nightclub and tell him that I was a reporter.
You actually spoke to him?
Yes, I did. Tell him I was a reporter for the New Musical Express, and I was writing an article for a New Musical Express, and I sat at the end of that bar, and that guy put drinks out of me all night.
Wow.
And I got absolutely bluttered for nothing. And of course I wasn't even writing for the
Now what's a story and a half there?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Ken, but that's just me, Ken, how I can go on and just come across to something I wasn't a bit. I got drink for nothing.
And how long did you be doing in London for?
I was doing here for about 4 years, I think it was, and I fell pregnant. And
was that the only reason you came back?
Well, I came back because I thought, right, our dad's English, we need to be born in Scottish, Ken, we can't hear full English. So came back, had her, got back down to London, but being on my own with a bairn was just... So I came back, and it wasn't really all that long back, and then I got involved with Christopher Slater. Finn, my oldest quine, Emma Louise, was only about a year old or something like that, and started a relationship with him. He was a fisherman. We both were house in King Edward Street. He get to sea. I bid at him with the bairn, and we were just a normal family.
But was you married? No.
No.
Not married? Okay.
No.
Are you still with him? No.
No, unfortunately, no. He passed away in 2015 through drugs. But we'd been split up a good while before that.
And now your relationship, you're with somebody else now?
Yeah, I'm now married to Stevie Moir.
You finally took it?
At 50 year old, I actually got married. See, most folk get married then have bairns, but I back to front, you see.
And how are you finding marriage, by the way? Is it something you wish you'd done years ago?
No, because
I
always says that the only time I'd ever get married was when it was the right person. And I think one of the reasons why I got down to London was I was terrified in case my mum hooked me up and did an arranged marriage and got my pawned off with some fisherman and got my so. But no, but Stevie was somebody I kent for a long time ago. So when I got reconnected with Stevie, it was so easy because I didn't have to sit down and say, look, I've got something to tell you. I was a heroin addict for 20 years, I've been in a jail. Stevie Kent.
So you've already had a foundation here.
Yes.
And it made a communication, just, you ken each other.
Aye.
Yeah?
Aye.
So is it nae annoying that you didn't start that relationship years back when you came to him?
Well,
you wasn't ready?
No, because it wouldn't have worked, because I was in amongst drugs, and it just wasn't it, Ken. Everything happens for a reason, Ken.
That's excellent. It's amazing that you see it yourself.
Yes.
You maybe wasn't back then ready,
it would have never worked out. Aye. You can't gang with somebody and somebody doesn't take drugs because you're sneaking about, you're lying, you're stealing, Ken. It crumbles down very quick.
Far was the turning point, as in, can we speak about jail?
Yes.
Is that right to say? Was he in jail?
Yes, I was.
And was that a turning point after he came out? No?
1995, I got busted by the Glasgow CID.
Was you doing Glasgow?
No, I wasn't, but the broch wasn't smart enough.
So this Glasgow CID was up near the broch,
Yes.
keeping an eye, and they
yes.
caught you somehow.
Well, I've been in King Edward Street, and I seen the library, and there's a dome, and that dome's never been used. But one day I looked out the window and I seen a camera, and I thought, they're watching my house. But they busted me and they caught me with a £20 bag.
Was you happy you got caught?
You can't fit at the end of I was, because the Baron's dad was in jail, and I was having tuck drugs down to him every week. I was on £300 worth of heroin a day in my cell.
Wow.
And it was getting out too much. So really, when I got caught, I was 5.5 stone.
Gee.
And
so you're lucky you didn't die.
Yes,
Aye.
yes. So really, when I got caught, it was quite a relief. I mind going to court on a Monday morning, and I had about 6 hairy blankets round about me. And as I said, about 5.5 stone. And I got remanded, get to Craigie. And then me and my brother went down to the High Court in Falkirk.
And I hope you've been intrigued and enjoying Sharon's podcast as much as I have been listening to her pure honesty.
Sticky Trifle Podcast will return next week.
And I hope you join us once again next Sunday for number 38 as we continue part 2. See you next Sunday. Bye.
Sticky Trifle Podcast.